Hey everybody, this is your daily dose of all things royal. Today's video is all about gossip. Many of you have seen these so-called blind items that come out from time to time. To be honest, I never heard of Crazy Days and Nights until Meghan Markle. I know nothing about the person who runs this celebrity gossip website. However, I'm finding out it's been around for years. From what I've seen of the posts about Meghan Markle, it's been pretty accurate. Not always, but for the most part, they're pretty accurate. So what I wanted to do in this video was take a look at the Prince Harry blind items, because I think a lot of times we find the Meghan Markle ones or the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, but there was a life that Prince Harry had before Meghan Markle. And surprise, surprise, there are blind items in there, which I want to cover, in addition to some that we might have missed. So here we go. Which began in February 2009, this blind item says, so this royal personage had a recent breakup, and the reason for it might be the fact that this foreign-born C-list actress with one huge movie and one great nominated role was not exactly discreet when she was talking about her relationship with him and what they had done and when. From the looks of this blind item wasn't revealed until 2012, and it turned out to be Prince Harry and Gemma Arterton. Now, I have no idea who she is, so I had to look her up and kind of piece this together. Apparently, this is Gemma, and the breakup was with Chelsea Davy. I don't know how true this is, but if you know, leave your comments below. This next one, dated in 2014, says, this foreign-born A-plus list celebrity apparently had unprotected fornication with a woman he met at a party. While no photos were taken this time around, the woman is still trying to sell her story to the tabloids. Now, I don't know if this is true, but 2014 was probably one of Harry's best years. That's when they created the Invictus Games, and then in May, he had been in Estonia. So was he in Estonia and met somebody and had unprotected relations with somebody? Possibly, but he was living his life. Actually, I think this time before Meghan was his best life. And it appears to be somewhat true, because in 2013, this blind item came up where it says an American couple was dining at a restaurant in London and noticed this A-plus list celebrity. Not sure of what to do or the protocol, they just kept staring but didn't know how to ask for a photo. The A-plus lister was all alerted to them by some of his fellow diners and walked over to the couple and sat down with them, and then posed for multiple photos. It was simple, but it made their entire vacation. This was finally revealed in 2015. So what we can tell from this blind item and also the one prior was that Harry was in a happier place. And you can see this if you just go back to the tabloids. He was turning things around. Now, this next one threw me for a loop. Originally presented in 2014, but revealed in January 2015, it says several months ago, there was a reunion of sorts. The pair had not seen each other in many years. Most people don't even know the pair ever met, but they had. And back in the day, they even did more than just meet. The woman is an A-plus lister. She has been A-plus list for quite some time and was at the top of the world when they first met back in the day. She was following through on a wish he had made a few years before they actually did meet. When he heard that she was going to be in his city, calls were made, and they spent a night ordering room service and having relations, even though she was married at the time. It was something they both wanted as far as dinner went, but the extra entertainment wasn't planned. Since that day, the A++ list celebrity she hooked up with has moved on with his life, and she has moved on with hers. Rarely did they speak to each other or even attempt to contact each other. Fast forward many years, and our A++ lister and A+ lister were going to be in the same city again. Not his city this time, but her city. Arrangements were made, and even though at the time she was involved with someone again, the two hooked up again. But this time in her hotel room and with 2 sets of bodyguards outside the doors. Apparently, our A+ lister was on a high for a week after this meeting and talks about it constantly to the point where a few months later, she was in the A++ lister city and wanted another meeting, but he was too busy to meet. For almost 2 weeks, she refused to leave her room except for required events because she kept waiting and hoping he would come by or call, and he didn't do any of it. Since that happened, she has never been the same. Something happened inside her those 2 weeks, and she rarely smiles and has just not the spark she once had. It is as if a light went off inside her. Can anyone guess who this was? It was Britney Spears. Now, for this blind item, I couldn't find anything that led to any evidence that the two of them were together, so if you know, please let me know. Now, this celebrity threw me for a loop. So originally, this blind item came out in 2007, but it was revealed, and I couldn't find the original one, but it was revisited and posted in 2015, where it says, "It's hard to imagine them hooking up now, but back when it happened, it was a pretty intense couple of weeks. She would not stop talking about it for a year. At some point, when she started dating Cisco Adler, she stopped talking about it as much." So this blind item in 2007 is, I'm not really one for royalty blind items because I don't know any, but I do know that recently there was some royalty that hit the OC hard. You can take that however you want, but I don't think they were physically hanging out at Laguna Beach. The person that we're talking about is Misha Barton. I never would have guessed this one, but let's take a look at who she is because many of you may not know who she is. This is what she looks like today in 2022. But back in the day in 2007, she literally was the it girl on a really popular show back then called the OC. If this is true, then Harry's type is definitely siding with the blondes. I wonder if that's the unconscious bias that the wife has always referred to. Now, this one has me scratching my head, but I kind of believe it because we just saw Misha Barton, who is from Cali. This one is also from Cali, but let me read it. She says it's true. It is kind of hard to believe, but at the same time, she is exactly his type. So maybe she was on that long-running MTV show and has actually made a career for herself since then in a much bigger role in a different country. She tells friends that she has hooked up with the royal ginger one. Any guesses, guys? It's Stephanie Pratt. She is the former star on a show called Laguna Beach. She is the sister of one of the main stars on the show Laguna Beach, Spencer Pratt, who married Heidi. I sort of kind of believe this, and here is why. I literally saw this on Reddit a couple days ago, and I was scratching my head saying, this makes no sense to me, and so random that Spencer Pratt is talking about Meghan Markle. Take a look.
You want some tea? You want to know why Brody doesn't really talk with Kim Kardashian anymore? Ooh, I'll tell you. Because he was invited to the Paris wedding with Kanye, but they wouldn't. It was such a small little church. There wasn't a +1, and he had just recently started dating Caitlyn, and she thought it was so rude and made this big deal about it, and then got Brody to think that actually was rude, which, all due respect to the Prince of Malibu, Brody Jenner, it wasn't. It was a small little church, and wherever they had that wedding. And so he like said something, I don't know the exact details, but they beefed out over Caitlyn not getting an invite to the wedding. Very Meghan Markle-ish vibes. Did I say that? I apologize. I don't need all the Meghan Markle people in my DM, in my comment section, so I apologize on the Meghan part.
Coincidence? Perhaps. But when I did some research and dug around a little bit, I found this article. Radar Online publishes this article in 2019. I'm going to put the link to that article below. Check it out for yourself. Personally, I think there is some sort of connection. This next blind item was released on April 2016, but the reveal was not until May, and it says, this still wild royal has been hooking up with this former Harry Potter actress. She couldn't stop talking about it this week. He sure does love his blondes. I was literally just saying that. Who is Ivana Lynch? Let me take a look. Really? Huh. Well, keep in mind that this was before anybody knew that it was before he started to date Meghan Markle. From what I gather from all these hookups, he was pretty much banging anything, hence the explanation as to how Meghan creeped in there. Now, this one was a blinder to me. It was released in May 2018, which apparently we know that the marriage happened and it was revealed on May 31st. It says, speaking of that wedding, it was pretty interesting that one foreign-born A-list, mostly movie actress who is an Academy Award winner / nominee wasn't invited. Oh, our actress wanted her invited, but doesn't know about the 3-day weekend her groom spent with the A-lister. Apparently, that is one weekend he doesn't want to relive. He treated the A-lister like crap, and she was able to get revenge 2 years later, although she won't say what the revenge was. Apparently, that was Margot Robbie. Could you imagine? So Meghan wanted to invite her, not knowing that Harry had relations with Margot Robbie. Woo! Margot should have went. She should have gone and she should have dropped that bomb. That would have been hilarious. There you have it, another blonde. Do you see a trend? Oh, Megxit, she probably feels so self-conscious, and it's why she doesn't let Harry out of her sight, because you know that he has a natural tendency to go towards blondes, and she is anything but that. So now what we're going to get into is what I call the Meghan years. And you'll notice a drastic difference from the earlier blinds to these blinds. So beginning with this one in November 2019, apparently the feud is still on because this royal traveled across the globe by himself to attend an event when the plan was for the sibling to also attend. That was Prince Harry, Prince William, the Rugby World Cup final. Now I'm going to take a look and see, was that Harry or was that Prince William? Apparently, the feud is still on because this royal traveled across the globe by himself to attend an event when the plan was for the sibling to also attend. That was Prince Harry, Prince William, the Rugby World Cup final. Now I'm going to take a look and see, was that Harry or was that Prince William? Now this one breaks my heart. This was on January 11th, literally 3 days after Megxit was announced. This blind item says, what is crazy is that the one in charge is more upset about the breakaway grandson than the other disgraced son. She is ready to have the son come back into the fold. Now, the way that I interpret this is that she forgave Andrew, but was angry and hurt by Harry. Harry really hurt the Queen, and I don't think people should forget that this began in January of 2020. Now you start to see Harry's life quickly turn into misery after they left. In July 2020, it says apparently the expatriate royal had a chance to go surfing with some actor friends from his home country that live in Los Angeles. Apparently, he was told he couldn't and shouldn't go. I think we can all surmise who wants him close. I believe this one, for sure. The next one is then dated August 8th, 2020. Says, so the foreign-born expatriate wants nothing to do with going back home, but still makes calls to daddy once a week to send him some money so he can live the high life. Oh, really? This one I found hilarious. The expatriate royal is actually pitching several scripts that he wrote, most of which are comedies to our action movies. All are awful. Oh boy, you mean he can write? I'm going to guess that since this was the height of COVID, that Meghan probably was in his ears telling him that he needs to sit down and pull his own weight, essentially. Since she was the one that conned Spotify and Netflix into giving them $138 million, he better get to writing some content. No wonder why they're in the situation that they're in. The military has seen enough from the ginger-haired one, and it won't be long before he is stripped of all his honorary military titles. They don't want someone to just phone in or pretend. They want a real leader. Huh. Apparently, this was true as it happened in February 2021. Now, I'm not sure about this one. Maybe if it was part of the family deal, but it says, as part of a side deal, the ginger-haired one had to agree to not exploit images of family members for any for-profit ventures or ventures that appeared to be for-profit. Prince Harry, Princess Diana. Not really sure what that means, so if you guys know, please leave your comments below. I believe this one, April 11, 2021, it says, going back to my Alliance blind item, which in a previous blind item, it was talking about Princess Eugenie. It is pretty telling that, at least according to the two cousins, they were the first people the ginger-haired one reached out to after news of the family death, and assuming that that was Prince Philip. I believe that this one is accurate. This next blind item is nauseating. Taking a tip from his wife at their wedding, the ginger-haired one updated his IMDb page to include his appearance at the funeral. He listed the funeral as a television special. Oh, dear Lord. Much like his wife categorized their wedding. Oh, you know what? From now on, we're going to call Prince Harry Hollywood Harry. This is so tacky and déclassé. Talk about cheapening royalty. Well, what do you expect? I mean, look who he's married to. Well, you know, because she's so classy. Comment below if you heard about this one. It says, will there be any point in time when the ginger-haired one can do an interview without mentioning his mother? Oh, and yes, she was dating a person of color when she was killed, but she was also talking to two other men deciding which of those to marry, while the guy she was dating had his girlfriend stashed in hotel rooms and yachts. And that is Princess Diana and Dodi Fayed. I'm only aware of the one guy. He was the heart surgeon. It was his name Hazmat Khan. I don't know who this other person they're talking about. If you guys know, comment that below. Now, this one I didn't understand. It says, it was a handy excuse to have a death in the family, but there would have been a baby with colic or jaundice if there wasn't a death. You can't control someone if they're not there. Not a good look for the ginger one. He has no mind of his own. Now, are they talking about Prince Philip's funeral, or are they talking about the Diana unveiling, considering Meghan wasn't at either of those two? But see, this one doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to skip over this one because I really have no idea. The ginger one got a huge olive branch. He was asked to join his brother at the quarterfinal of the Euro 2020 and said no. Is it just me? But hasn't the family extended so many olive branches? I mean, they practically can make virgin olive oil at this point at their home in the Olive Garden. So if this was in 2020 that this happened, allegedly, then that means the wife probably told him, no, you can't go. That's what I think really happened. I do think that there's some truth to this next blind item. It was published in July 2021. It says the publication date for that upcoming book written by the ginger-haired one is designed to exploit the 25th anniversary of his mom's death. He always needs to leech off of someone else. Well, ain't that the truth? Yeah, considering if this book is going to be dropped, as they said, in November, yeah, I think that a good portion of it is going to be this. But I do think now, after the Queen's passing, he's going to make some updates to attack not only his brother, but also Camilla and the king. I fully believe that we're going to see a new level of nastiness that we've never seen before, and it's going to be vicious, because Meghan is going to have her influence on it. And after this funeral, you bet she's going to get in the last word through Harry. Hopefully this blind item will comfort many. Remember last year in November when they went to that Veterans Gala and Meghan wore that hideous dress? Well, a couple days later, or the day later, they went to New Jersey to visit with Afghans. And this one says there were multiple veterans at an event this week that had to be restrained when they told the ginger-haired one to go back home. Prince Harry, Veterans Day at Joint Base McGuire-Dix, Lakehurst in New Jersey. Now, I believe this one because East Coast, New Yorkers and New Jersey, we truly don't hold back. So if there's something on our minds, we're going to say it. These two are so thin-skinned. I have more faith and I feel more comfortable now to say that I don't think that they will move and live here, because they're not going to be able to handle our brutally honest opinions and in your face telling it like how it is. Now, this next one is true, and this is talking about the New York Gala. It says here, as a follow-up to the ginger-haired one being told to go home by the veterans, the reason for it was because they didn't want to be part of the dog and pony show, which clearly became evident when all the camera and sound guys running around. Someone then asked a veteran to word something differently. That is when they lost it and told him to go back to his own country. Do you think that that will make the special? Oh my gosh, I so hope Netflix will air that, but doubtful. The smartest thing that Netflix can do with this couple is pull a blinder if they want viewers to watch this garbage. Here's what I want to see, and I hope Netflix is listening because many others probably will agree with me. I think we all want to see justice being served to these two selfish, entitled brats who have hurt so many people. We want to see them being held accountable for the damage that they have caused to so many others, as well as people telling them where they can go and stick it where the sun don't shine. This is just my opinion. What do you guys think about this one that came out this year? It says, apparently the ginger-haired one wants to make his living suing people who write about him or criticize him. He just looks even more whiny. What do you guys think about that one? Do you think it was being facetious? Or do you think that this is semi-serious? This is the strategy? I don't know. I think it could be. But I also think that, you know, him suing the government, which is what I think this is in relation to, is a reason why they're saying this. But yeah, I agree with it. Somehow, though, I foresee more lawsuits, but on the other end, I feel that there's going to be more people that are going to be suing this couple, such as Netflix, Spotify. We've got Samantha. Who knows? There may be other people coming out of the woodwork. I can see Meghan and Harry putting their failure on Sunshine Sachs, and I can see Sunshine Sachs coming out of the woodwork and suing them. Who knows? After the book Courtiers come out and we realize how much bullying has been going on, there might be some people coming out of the woodwork that have been working with the Harkles that have now left that could come out with a lawsuit. I foresee that it is possible. Oh, I hope that A&L does take the opportunity to appeal. I believe that they have a year since last year's judgment in favor of Meghan Markle. I hope that they do have material that they can use from the Tom Bowers book Revenge and are considering to move forward with an appeal. So fingers crossed. I don't know how I missed this one, but I feel like I heard it and I didn't pay too much attention to it. But let me read this out. So this was revealed on July 4th, but it was dropped in January. It says the interview was filmed, but I do not know if it is for a documentary or the book that is being written. My guess, it is going to be used for both. The other question is whether this is going to be a documentary released at the same time as the book. That would seem unlikely as the book has a definitive release date and would seemingly be longer to get the documentary ready. In any event, the interview, or at least the subject of the interview, tells the rest of the world what direction the book is going to take. The interviewee, who is very much in the very latter stages of life, very much supports the theory that his son and A-list girlfriend were murdered. He spent a great deal of money at the time proving his theory, and it is very much a valid theory. He explains it very well and has documents to support his theory. There doesn't seem to be any point in interviewing him if you are also not going to subscribe to the theory yourself in writing the book. If so, there will be no building any bridges back ever again. How can you when you would be accusing someone of murder who is on the other side of that bridge? Oh, snap. No wonder why Prince William wants to hold those titles from those kids until he sees what's in this book. You know what this is? This is not good. So from what it sounds like, it looks like this interview already took place with Mohammed Al Fayed. Oh boy. This could take a very, very dark turn if Harry moves forward with this. I guarantee they're going to be exiled for good. I mean, I think this will be the final straw, in my opinion. As if everything else wasn't bad enough, this is just going to be over the edge. I'm glad I did this tonight because we forgot about this little episode going on because everybody was focused on Camilla and being attacked and King Charles. This is going to be worse, in my opinion. Brace yourselves. I feel a storm is coming. And now to end on a somewhat lighter note, the latest and last blind note about Harry says, there is a reporter for a British tabloid who told her editors she knew that the ginger-haired one was going to Africa. Her editors laughed at her and said she didn't know anything. When she kept insisting it was true, they threatened to fire her if she didn't stay in her lane. Apparently, she is a science reporter who heard about it through a scientist she knows who was set to meet with the ginger-haired one, which is why he couldn't keep a lunch date. I don't know if I believe this one, just because I think this one was planted by Meghan Markle's team. Because since when is Harry talking to a scientist? I mean, in seriousness, in my opinion, I believe that that whole Africa trip was a farce. You can check out the video that I did on this. I'm going to link it below, but I don't believe that he went to Africa. And that's just my opinion. But what do you guys think? I hope you enjoyed this. A little bit different. It was fun for me, but leave your comments and thoughts below. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell button, and I will be back soon. Bye.
I was such a fraud.